All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be going over how to sand and finish your hardwood floors. I just got through installing all these upstairs in the this kids' room. So if you haven't been following along how to remodel a bonus room, you can go ahead and check out that video as well. But as far as this, we have the drum sander and we have an edger. You're going to want a respirator, some blue tape, and then we have our sandpaper grit. All this right here is from Home Depot. The way to change this out is you just raise this up and it just slides on there. But what we're going to do now is we're going to start off with 36 grit. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I just want to do one pass. I don't want to have to go 3 times with 60 grit. So we have 36 grit, we got a 60 grit, and then we have an 80, and then finally we have our 100. And this correlates to the edger too. It's the same thing over there. So what you'll want to do is when you take your drum sander out first, you want to start probably with your 100 grit. If you've never worked one of these machines, especially since you're renting it, it's not yours, you're gonna I would suggest starting off with 100 grit. Get to know the machine. That way you're not taking too much of the wood out with the 36, because it's a lot easier to fix some mistakes from a 100 grit as opposed to your 36. So that's just something we're going to do. That's something I like to do on these machines that I rent, because you don't know. So I'll go ahead and load up the 100 grit. We'll try that out, get a good feel for the machine, and we'll go from there. Just kind of do it like this right here. Just like that. Let me move all this out of the way and we're ready to go. Now before we get started with that, you want to make sure you contain this dust. This machine sucks up a lot of it, but you don't want it filtering through your HVAC going into other rooms. So I don't have any plastic, but what you'd want to do is put a little piece of plastic over it and start taping this up, taping it off. But we're just going to use some of this painter's tape to go over this and close this up. And you also want to go ahead and shut off your HVAC while you're sanding. And if you have any furniture, if you're doing this like in an adjacent room where it's an open floor plan, you want to go ahead and put down some plastic over all your furniture, over your cabinets, anything that you don't want, especially if you're working on inside of a kitchen. You definitely want to put plastic over your cabinets and all that to keep all that dust from going up in there. And you definitely want to go ahead also and seal up your door, because in here I'm putting in carpet next week. So I do not want to get all this sand and dust in there. So make sure you seal that up. In here is fine. It's just closets we're going to be vacuuming that out and cleaning it. But we'll get started. So the machine appears to be working fine. So I feel comfortable about going ahead and starting off with the 36 grit. So make sure when you're changing this out, just to be safe, unplug it before trying to change out the sandpaper. So go ahead and move this, and we'll change out, start on the 36. All right, now that I went ahead and edged all around the perimeter with 36, I'm going to go ahead and switch this out. To 60. And then I'm going to vacuum up the floor. And then we'll continue on with this. All right, just got through going around with my 60 grit on the edger. So we'll just continue on with the next grit. This is 80. And as you can see, you're probably wondering, when is he gonna fill these? So I like to go ahead I like to go ahead and fill these on right before my last application of sanding. So after this 80, I'll go ahead and put in some filler. I'll show you guys what I use. Basically the sawdust out of the bag and glue. And we'll let that dry, and then I'll go over it with 100 grit. So, all right. Okay, this is all there is to this. Try not to, you just want to let a little bit of this out, like that. And then we're going to focus right here. You always want to start on one corner of the room, and we're just going to work our way back so we don't miss anything. This is pretty simple. You just go ahead and fill in your cracks, little nail holes. There's another one. And then you just sprinkle some of this over there like that. That's all you do. just work your way on around. Like that. So I'll continue to go all the way around this floor, filling this in, and we'll give it about an hour, 2 hours, probably 2, just to fully dry, and then we'll continue on with our 100 grit. All right, this is kind of what it looks like once you're done with the glue. You'll have just random little piles. So I'm just going to sweep this off to one side, and then I'll vacuum it before we do the 100 grit. And here I'm just going over with my orbital sander. I'm still using the 100 grit. I'm just trying to smooth out any inconsistencies that I had from the edger and the drum sander. So I'll just continue on going across this wall and the perimeter, and that will wrap it up. One last thing is, if you notice, you'll see that little line from where the drum sander was coming, as far as the drum sander would go, to the wall. So that's why I wanted to go ahead with this orbital sander, because it definitely smooths out everything. So I highly suggest that be your last step. This concludes on how to sand a hardwood floor.